Hello everyone, my name is Cub. Welcome to Snapshot 19w37a. There's a couple changes this week, so let's go ahead and get started. The first change in this week's snapshot is that blocks that can manually be placed on farmland can now also be pushed onto it by a piston without destroying the farmland. So, as far as I can tell, this only applies to fence gates, because I think fence gates are the only block that you can actually put on farmland without destroying it. And I stand corrected, there actually is another block you can place on farmland without it breaking and turning into dirt, and that is carpets. So carpets, as you can sort of see here, let me just get in the water over here so you can see this better. They actually float just above the farmland, as you can see. So that means we can now push them with pistons across the farmland, and they don't break the farmland. So, yeah, very cool change there, and thank you Slice Lime for pointing this out to me. There were also a couple of minor changes when it comes to feature parity between Java Edition and Bedrock Edition. So now in Java Edition, boats will now smelt 6 items in a furnace. So if I put this in here and we wait a little bit of time, and after a bit of time, we'll see that the boat actually smelted up 6 blocks, which is the same as it is on Bedrock. Another feature parity thing is that campfires can now be put out with shovels simply by right-clicking on the campfire with the shovel. And this also does take durability from your shovel. You'll see here it took 2 durability after I put out 2 campfires, so it takes 1 durability per campfire extinguished. One thing you might have noticed in Java Edition Minecraft is that all the mobs, when they spawn in, are adult mobs. However, that has now been changed in this snapshot to be on feature parity with Bedrock, and we'll now find some baby mobs in groups of animals. So here you see we got a little baby pig here. This pig has actually spawned naturally in the game. So now occasionally throughout the world, you may find baby mobs along with groups of regular breedable mobs. So that's pretty cool. There were also a bunch of bug fixes this week, some of the most survival relevant of which are that large ferns will now sometimes drop seeds, as you just saw right there and right there. Wet sponge placed in the nether will now update redstone as every other block does, so you can now make quick ways to basically automate the production of dry sponge, and then presumably you have a TNT duper back here, which would then destroy all this dried sponge now. So yeah, that's pretty cool. There is now an arm placement animation for several things in the game, which there was not previously. One of those things, for instance, is placing a boat. You can see I actually reach out and place the boat now instead of it just being put there. Same thing if I throw an ender pearl. So if I throw an ender pearl like in this direction, you see my arm actually comes up. And yeah, it's like you're throwing the ender pearl, almost like you're hitting with the ender pearl, but you're actually just throwing it up in the air. So that's really cool. Other things that also have an arm animation now are dying sheep, and also throwing an Eye of Ender into the air. Placing down a bucket of water also now plays the arm animation, as you can see right here. And dropping an item also plays the arm animation. So it looks like you're physically throwing the item now, which is kind of cool. Last week, the Beehive was missing the top texture when it was full of honey. However, this week you can see that the Beehive now has the top texture replaced. And also, I believe, the bottom texture too. So this is what those two things look like right there. You might remember from last week's snapshot that there is new game rules. So if I do /game rule fall damage or fire damage, I can toggle fall damage or fire damage on and off. These were actually set to true by default, and that has now been fixed. So that is a good bug fix there. And also the fire damage, if I go ahead and set that to false, so I can't take fire damage, that now also applies to things like lava. So if I go ahead and just set myself to survival game mode, jump into the lava, you'll see now I do not take damage from the lava because I have the fire damage now set to false. You can also now no longer mine a block with the Silk Touch book and get the Silk Touch block back. So yeah, you see no grass we got from that. That is a bug in 1.14.4 that you can actually use a Silk Touch book on, for instance, like a grass block, and you get the block back. But that is no longer the case now in this new snapshot. You now have to actually apply the enchantment to a tool for it to work properly. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for me from Snapshot 19w37a. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. As always, thanks once again for watching. This has been Cub. Goodbye.